We're Judy.
And Judy.
I'm Judy Stevens and I'm a printmaker.
And I'm J&Jv2, and I make these textile-based three-dimensional objects.
So can you tell me a bit about how you make your, what you call them and how you make them?
Oh, they all started out being called Dangerous Dolls. That's not my title really, but it's because they were doll-like, I suppose, but also quite dangerous because they've got lots of metal and sort of non-child friendly really. So that's what they started out as. They're sort of slightly different now. And I paint this is silk velvet, which I dye and paint, flat. Then I cut it up, stuff it, and then I make whatever I'm going to make to dress them in, and have a backing which is cut and pierced tin. This is all looped. It's like a looped wire technique. These are it's all recycled wire and recycled tin.
It looks like knitting.
And it's a sort of knitting. You can't really knit with wire, it's very hard, but you loop it. So it's a bit like a crochet type of thing. Okay. And this one's called Puffy Pants because it's actually not puffy. It's actually called Panto Puss, but it's got puffy pants on because they're those like knickerbockers, which I think is quite funny. So there's an element of humour and an element of uncomfortableness. So they're all slightly awkward and slightly constricted, as you can see in this one as well. So again, lots of, yeah.
Yes, and where do you get the tin? Because you use quite interesting tin sometimes.
Yeah, tins. I never buy anything, so they're always given, found, and then I cut them out with a piercing saw. These back bits, or they've got little ears that are metal. And then I paint them with enamel paint. So you can see this one was obviously off an olive tin with olives in it, a really big tin. This is a little fish,
little
creme
fish
de salmon. He's called Monsieur Salmon, Monsieur Creme rather, sorry. And this one I think was a biscuit tin originally. This one's based on a lamb that I saw. They're always based on animals that I sort of see hanging around.
Yes, it does look a bit lamb-like.
And it's got a number in it, so it's sort of, that's the clue, and it's got dirty knees. It's called shopping or football, so it can't decide what it wants to do.
And so Mr. Cream or Mr. Salmon?
Monsieur Creme, actually, I think is a better name for him. Yeah, he's just made with velvet, and these originally started off using all my little bits, but actually then there's a whole body of work now that are these smaller pieces which have little electrical components in as well.
So they do have whole little stories and backgrounds, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't there some sort of inspiration from sort of Indian fetishes?
Oh, yeah, when I first started doing them, there was a lot of the things called pathway icons, which sort of sit and guard and look over an area. So there was that element of sort of just somebody watching over something. But I think it's moved slightly. There is still an element of that, because often they're sort of watching and waiting and you don't know what's about to happen, or some of them have another element, like another creature in or another little cutout, so there's some sort of dialogue starting between the two. There's sort of general idea of ambiguity and sort of anticipation, and I like the sort of ambiguity. I like the sort of combination of hard and soft. So these sort of rich velvet and then the sort of recycled tin. So I like that sort of contrast. I find quite interesting.
Yeah. So and then they all get separated. They form these relationships, and they might go off to live in separate people's houses.
Steadicam work's not very good.
Okay. Now tell me about yours.
Well, so I'm a printmaker, but I'm also an illustrator. So these are some recent work that I've done for myself. This is called Hell in a Handcart.
That's right. Yes.
And it's really because I think that's the situation in which we've all found ourselves recently.
Yes.
So it's based obviously on medieval church paintings and slightly updated for today. But I was feeling at the point when I did that things couldn't get any worse, and then they did.
They did.
So
these research, I mean, where do you do your research for these?
So I've really, I suppose originally it was from a church that we visited, or several churches that we visited, but I also found a lot of materials online, so sort of taking ideas from a lot of different places. But then when I felt like things were so bad that maybe we should be a bit more optimistic, so I began I began a series of green men, and really they're very odd, but again based on church. Well, I suppose they're pagan, but you see them also in churches, and of new life growing out of rather strange old life, and so I'm working on a series of 3 at the moment. 2 of them are going to be men, and 1 is going to be a green woman, which I'm thinking, well, maybe quite optimistic.
So these are blocks?
Yeah, so I work in lino, and I've cut these out ready to print, but I haven't actually got to the printmaking studio, and now it's getting quite difficult because of the new lockdown. But this is a second green man, and this is the green woman. I'm hoping it's going to bring great things.
So will that be, how many colours will be on that? Because obviously this is how many colours you've got?
I think that's 4 blocks I used there.
Yeah.
Some blocks have got 2 colours on. This one's going to be a little bit simpler. It's just going to be 3 colours.
So will you cut that away, or will you have another?
No, that's quite yeah.
So it's not reduction.
No, I can't. I can never quite work that out. So yeah. So I've actually done 3 separate blocks, which I've printed. So I've just got this final block to go if I can get it done before the studio closes. And then I'm also an illustrator. So during lockdown, I had a really interesting project. It was the previous lockdown. It was a very interesting and quite a long project that I did a series of. They printed as banners about the story of Robin Hood. So this is Robin and Marion getting married, and this is Robin and Little John fighting on the bridge, it's for a visitor centre in Sherwood Forest. It's now it used to be a little hut in the forest, but now they've built a big new RSPB visitor centre, which is great, but it's about birds, and a lot of the old visitors wanted. They were upset that it didn't show any. Or didn't have any story of Robin Hood, so these banners are to bring back Robin Hood to the visitor centre in Sherwood Forest. These are just I cut these out in one piece of lino and then scanned them in on the computer, and then I coloured them in Photoshop. So I don't actually have finished images of them because I only as prints I only have black and white prints, but. So they're not at the moment online, but yeah, you can see all our prints and our dangerous dolls.
Yeah, we can call them dangerous dolls for now, for want of a better word.
Okay.
on our online gallery. Thank you for visiting our online open house.
Yes.